Okay.
This is exciting.
This is awesome, folks.
This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. I was one who did that, so you know.
Yeah.
I about hit leave meeting, so people have that problem.
Whoops.
They'll be like, I have to go yell across the house. Michael, let me in. I have to go open the door.
It's taking forever to load up the player on the stream page for me.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to get the URL to put it on Twitter, but
I think I can get it.
Whoa!
What?
Oh, YouTube is.
Wait, that's the YouTube's playing, Michael.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that things on the Mac do not automatically switch audio devices. That's so weird. That was awesome. And why is it playing again? I don't understand. So let me tell my computer to pick the right sound device, because obviously it doesn't know to do that on its own. Awesomeness. You know, it sometimes helps to switch to the new device. You even have to tell your computer's sound effects to switch to the right device too, which is, awesome. All right.
Mm-hmm. All right, are we ready, Michael?
Yes, and I would like to give a shout out to Daniel, who's in the chat. Welcome. Thank you for joining us after a few months of absence. Actually, our last recording on Unleashed was in November. So that was our last episode.
Yeah, welcome in.
So awesome. Thank you for joining us. Man, it's been a while since we've done any kind of a stream. So
I know, it's been crazy around here.
I know, it's been a little interesting, to say the least. Am I coming through okay to you guys?
Yes, you're coming through good.
Yeah. Although I'm hearing you in two places, so.
I'm sure you are, because you're next door. And hopefully that won't come in too loudly on... Well, I don't think it'll come in loudly on mine. I'm not hearing it echo through, so... we should be good to go. And my microphone is it doesn't pick up anything more than about a foot away from it, so, we should be good to go. I love my ATR 2100 for podcasting. It's great. All right, and hopefully it sounds great, and Jason won't kill us. All right.
Well, I think he might anyways, because he's going to kill us because of this refrigerator and all these kids. Literally, you don't know how many kids. Yeah.
You can't hear the refrigerator.
Oh, but you could probably hear those kids earlier. So I don't know. Yeah. Jason's probably going to find a reason to kill us somehow.
All right. Are we ready, folks?
Yep.
All right. Let's do this thing. All right. 3. Does everybody have a pick for the week? I know, Doug, you do.
Yeah, you just asked that.
I didn't know if you did or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the iACast. All right. I am Michael, and yes, it's been a while since we've done one of these things. I have with me today a pretty usual face on the show. We have Taylor Arndt.
Hello, everyone.
And we have a new face on the program. We have Doug Oliver.
Afternoon, everyone.
Yep. And we have a bit of an announcement as far as that goes, and we will get into that after we talk about some interesting tech news. We just had CES this week, and I didn't really do a lot of research into it, but I've heard that Freedom Scientific was at CES this year. What do y'all think of that?
I think that's pretty crazy. I did do some research because I listened to the Twit stuff, and I also the CNET. Basically, CNET talked about everything. I saw a video. It's called "The Worst of CES." So it was like the worst of in each category. So it was like the worst privacy, the worst this, the worst that. But in terms of Freedom Scientific, I thought that interesting because I thought technically, usually a lot of the blindness companies don't get in on the CES because it's usually, not kind of their market. So it's interesting to see what they came out with, or interesting to see how they did or what they found at CES.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting myself because I never thought that they would get into that. I agree with that. I do agree.
Yeah, and some companies have actually started going to South by Southwest before we had the pandemic, and so it's kind of interesting, seeing these accessibility related, focused companies go to these bigger conferences. And it's also interesting. We're looking at going to CSUN, but one of the things that I read was they are requiring health checks every day. Yep. So that's going to be interesting.
And the CSUN competes with AxeCon. So that's also fun.
Yep. So there's a lot of different things coming up. And, I'm just excited for what we get during, and this is the name I've come up with. I call it Tech Baseball, the Tech Baseball season. And that is, March to October when baseball spring training kind of starts for the season to begin in April, which is when, a lot of new tech starts coming around, and then, goes all the way through October. And after that, nothing new is really announced. So tech baseball, folks, that's the way I look at it. We have, we have a lot of tech that has come out this year, and, it's really interesting kind of just to see all the rumors and all, we don't really speculate too much on this podcast. And, it's really kind of crazy that we haven't had a lot of these shows since we had to say goodbye to our, awesome Jason, who has been on the show. He cannot be on now, but, he's provided such great content. And so we just haven't had a lot of episodes. We're going to change that this year, and we'll talk about that more later on. Yes, I am teasing the audience. We have a lot to do, so I'm pretty excited about it. And it's kind of interesting looking at all the different things. These platforms have added like Zoom and Discord and even Team Talk. And, I think there's been a lot of recent developments as far as Team Talk goes. And Doug, you use Team Talk more than both me and Taylor. Can you kind of talk about some of the cool stuff that we've seen on that?
One of the things they've added in the later versions of Team Talk, guys, is the ability, for iOS anyway, you now can listen to music while on a Team Talk server. You used to not be able to. It used to not be a thing. Now, and also, you now have the ability. Now, note for all of you, this isn't in the final release yet. This is still beta because I beta tested. It is allowing you to also have your microphone in stereo. That has now become a thing, folks. So, yeah, there you go.
Which microphone? Your iPhone microphone?
The iPhone microphone, yes. You can use both microphones in stereo with the newer Team Talk.
That's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's really the cool thing is what the stuff you can do on a mobile device. And now I'm really curious. This may have to be something we try. What all is allowed to be done with Team Talk for, you could use the iOS client on the Mac.
Yeah, that's going to be my next curiosity when I can eventually get my hands on a MacBook Air, M1, to see if that same capability is over there too. That'd be interesting to find out.
Yep, and it's just that Clubhouse, all the things they've added. At Clubhouse has added so many things. I don't even know where things are hardly in the app anymore.
I don't like what they did with the leave quietly button. I don't like where they located it. I don't like it on the left-hand side. I like it originally where it was on the right. I can't stand it like the way it is.
Well, it was on the bottom left.
Yeah.
and now it's on the right. So I think it was reverse of what you were saying.
Yeah. Well, at least for me, when I could swipe right and find it, now I have to
Ah,
swipe left just to get to it.
yeah. So it's interesting, and Clubhouse made Apple's top apps of 2021.
Wow.
So that was pretty interesting to see that they did that.
Hmm. And even Android's gone some underwent some changes this year. And I will say this: I don't know if you can comment to this, but some people who have Samsung devices who have upgraded to Android 12 have been getting random restarts even, and that's
I've
not a good
I've
thing.
heard that's multiple handsets, like not just Samsung, but as far as the Pixel 5, I have not seen that behavior. But of course, Google's going to make sure that their stuff works just great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So, it's pretty interesting. Um, Android 12 adds a lot of features, especially visual customizations, but
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of Android's things are, you know, done through the apps, and they have made a lot of accessibility improvements and things like that over time. Multiple finger gestures and things like that. I kind of feel like they still are lacking in Braille and a few other areas, but
Mhm.
um, and just some of the apps, in my opinion, just work better on iOS. But
Yeah.
you know, uh, Android's, we're going to see what happens. And it's interesting because Android's beta process, usually starts in March. So Android 13 will probably come out in March as an alpha for people to test, and they want people to test it thoroughly from March till like October. It's kind of crazy, the beta cycle for Android.
Hmm.
So it's kind of I mean, to me, all of that's very interesting. It's you have a lot of we had a lot of tech news last year. We had the Macs. I have my M1 Max computer. Taylor has an M1, and it's interesting. I'm seeing recently on YouTube what people are saying that some people find the M1 a better deal because you get the most power for the most efficiency compared to the higher end processors. And it's interesting what they're saying that you could get a more powerful Intel and AMD computer for less price than you can the M1 Max computers. And that's really, I never thought about that. But the M1 is in a unique position because it's the cheaper of all of them, and you get more power than any computer at that price point.
Now, did we mention yet news of the iPhone SE3 coming out in March? That is going to be a thing, folks.
Well, it's a rumor.
It's a rumor.
Yeah, we,
But
we have not gotten anything from Apple, but that's the talk. We are hearing things about that. We're hearing that it's going to be an iPhone 8 body and a newer processor inside. But it's interesting where these things are going to go as far as how Apple's going to do these things. I feel like Apple is doing that not because they need to, but because they know people like their home buttons, right?
or yeah, and then there's some people out there who need a budget device as well too. That's another thing that they
Yeah,
probably think about.
and the mini is the 13 mini is pretty close to that, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, the SE is always the cheaper of the devices and the less battery. So
Mhm.
I can tell you, for me, I will not be getting one of those, but um,
Me either.
so um, those are kind of the big things. The holidays came and went, and we got some great stuff for technology this year. Around here, Taylor moved in with me, and we're in separate rooms doing this podcast. And it's interesting, we got a whole bunch of new tech. I got the Oculus Quest 2, which I'll talk about in our main topic. We've gotten all kinds of other, we've gotten so many things like new Xbox controllers since Taylor's been here. We've gotten the Apple TV remote is fantastic.
Yep, we got two of those. I've had trips to the Apple store.
Yep.
Pretty eventful. I had one that was pretty eventful. Yeah.
And we got the new Apple TV 4K, and that thing is faster, so it's pretty nice. So all kinds of new tech. So, and it's really just a very nice thing, being able to play with all this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our announcement part of the podcast. Typically, at this point, we do an ad to talk about, any of the services or things that we do at iAccessibility or Techopolis, which is my new company that I've been working on since August. And we are going to talk about something that needs to happen, and I think people are going to enjoy this. And as long as we can get him on some better recording equipment. Yep. And that is Doug Oliver will be helping to host episodes of the iACast, and we will be starting that up whenever he's ready to do his next episode. He will be getting guidance from the IA team, of course, and be helping to do different projects with the iACast network. And we are going to continue into the new year with producing new content. We still have hands-on safety. We still have game casts and unbox casts that have been coming out, and game casts. So all kinds of new content will be coming this year, more so than last year. We didn't really put out a lot of content last year. So, I want to give, in just a minute, I want to give Doug a chance to talk about, what his hopes and goals and dreams are for being on the iACast. But I want to say that, we, as a podcast, I've seen a lot of technology podcasts in blindness and accessibility come and go. And we want to make sure that we stay fresh and stay around, because we didn't have a lot of episodes last year. So, because of that, we are going to open it up, and we're going to have some new hosts, and Doug will be a primary one of those. So, Doug, if you want to kind of say a little bit and kind of give your thoughts on how how you would like to do some episodes next year, what your goals are, and those kind of things. So, take it away.
First off, guys, I want to say thank y'all for bringing me on the team and bringing me apart. You guys aren't going to lose Michael and Taylor. I mean, they're still going to come around and come and be a part when they can. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of, we're going to talk a lot of different things involving tech. There may be some demonstrations I might do with some tech. There might do some fun demonstrations. I mean, of course, under an hour, we'll have to just scramble it as best we can. But here's what, guys, we're going to have fun with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you listeners pick what you'd like to see for iACast. I want to open it up to you, the audience, what you guys would like to see. Instead of having us pick things, why not bring us forth suggestions and see what your thoughts are? What are your thoughts on that, Michael?
Yeah, that's great. And, one of the things that we will also be working on more this year is providing more dynamic content on the iAccessibility website. So people can give suggestions and talk about what is covered on the iACast episodes. So, and I think that will be a really good change to the podcast, and it will allow us to go into different places than we've been before. We've been doing this show since 2015, and it's crazy that it's been, it's going to be 7 years in September that we've done this show. So we've seen a lot of faces. I don't know if you know this, Doug. If you go way back in the archives, you will even hear Rich Cavallero on here.
Wow.
So
Wow.
We've had a lot of faces come and go on the show, and
Rest in
it's
peace, Rich
been,
Cavallaro. Rest in peace,
yes,
bud.
yes, indeed. And it's been a wild, crazy, fun ride, and we've had a lot of content. So I just want to say thank you for everybody that's been on before. And I'll like Doug said, I will still be hosting some episodes. I wanted to do this one, so we're going to have a lot of fun talking here in a minute. But Doug, do you have any final thoughts?
What I'd like to say is, I will. I'll be. I'll give out my info at the end of the podcast, and for those that want suggestions for any future. Uh,
Cut.
Yep.
oh, people bugging. Oh crap! I gotta go do
I hate
this.
when I don't have do not disturb on and that happens. Oh my gosh.
That goes in the outtake file.
Yep, Doug hasn't even been a host yet, and he gets an outtake.
Turn on do not disturb. Turn on do not disturb.
Okay, I turned do not disturb on.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I hate when that happens.
Outtake 1. Anyway.
Outtake 1 of this year, yep. Great.
Okay. Anyway.
So
okay.
What we do is, if there is anything like that, we take a cut, laugh about it for a bit, and then once everybody's composed, we count back in 3, 2, 1, and then continue talking. But another thing you may want to do, and that I sometimes do, is I will press my mute switch on my phone, and that way, even if something gets through do not disturb, because it can happen,
it can just vibrate. It can just vibrate, and it won't bother nobody. Okay.
It won't be as bad.
Sorry, iPhone users, you heard the old opening theme on my phone. Sorry.
It happens.
Anyway, okay, whenever you're ready to count us back in, we can.
Yeah.
roll.
You were the last one talking, I believe, right?
Yeah. So then you count back in.
Yeah, you count back in and finish what you were going to say.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'll give my contact info out at the end, and then I will make sure that those that do have suggestions, I will tweet out when I'm getting ready to look at doing a podcast episode. I will tweet out, and I will set a deadline for suggestions. So you can bring suggestions every week. It just may not appear on the episode that I'm going to do right away, but I will definitely be taking suggestions for you guys. So, yeah.
Excellent. And so that will be starting up soon. And also, we do have all of our contact information for iAccessibility at the end of the show. Doug will be connected with all those resources, and we will make this thing a lot better this year than it was last. So I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on to our main topic at hand, and I think this has been a big topic that I think needs to be talked about, and I'm really excited about it. And that is the fact that Facebook is going through a name change. They're now Meta or Metaverse, and so there's been a lot of discussion out there about what Metaverse is and what it's not. And so I think we wanted to come together and talk about, is it accessible for us or for anybody with a vision problem or hearing problem or anything in between. So what is the metaverse? And the important thing about that is the metaverse is where users will be able to use virtual glasses and sound and ear equipment to experience things in virtual reality and somewhat augmented reality. Examples of this are the Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, and Steam VR and the PlayStation VR glasses. All of these provide these kind of experiences, but Facebook's really going really heavily into this, and this is one of the technologies they're talking about with Web 3. So Web 3 is, Web 2 was more the shopping, the websites, and dynamic content refreshing without refreshing the web. Web 3 is decentralization of technologies and VR and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But until then, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook went on record saying that these changes will take 5 to 10 years for the metaverse to even mature to the point where they're ready. But we've already seen signs of it now with different headsets that are available, such as like what I talked about. And I've been playing with the Quest 2. I've just got one, and accessibility is non-existent. And the only way I'm able to do things is by casting the screen to my phone or to my TV screen, and then using the glasses as if I wasn't wearing them. So there are some very strange things that you have to do to make these things work. So I'm going to start off by asking Taylor, what are your opinions of what you've heard about the metaverse, and is there anything that you as a person would like to get out of it?
Well, I can tell you one thing, just based on what I've seen from you, trying to do that. I can tell you one thing, they've got a lot of work to do if they want to become accessible. And, they've got a lot of work to do because they need to be able to include everyone, right? But right now, I mean, you can barely set up your device, right? Because we were trying to figure out, oh crap, what if you can't set up your stuff? What are we going to do, right? So it's interesting. And I think it's a cool concept, but the problem we have here, folks, is that it's not accessible at all. And when I mean at all, I mean Michael with, low vision, or, was not even really able to set up his device. He had to go through some hacky workarounds. But think about, even more broadly, right? Someone without, vision at all, like for example, myself, even though I have some, I still need voiceover, and voiceover is non-existent. So right there, you eliminated a whole class of people. Right. And then, you have to think about not only blindness, right, but, since I've started to take my new position, I've also had to think about other disabilities as well. Right. And so, trying to think about that kind of thing is also important. And I think that with the different kinds of disabilities, I think that they have a lot of work that needs to be done to make themselves accessible. So while I think it's a cool concept, I think that we have a lot to go to try to make it inclusive for all.
And that's well put. And here's my thought on this. I think that it can be. Can be. Like,
right.
If even if they made it where you could point in the air and it would read out loud the things you're pointing at. Because a lot of the times it's just you're looking through the glasses and it's like you're looking at something on a TV screen half a room away. And even if you have mild to moderate vision loss, you're not going to be able to see those things. They're too small. So I think, if they made it to where just using the pointing device, because you could almost point to things with your hands and manipulate things with your hands. And if they could just make it where you point at them and it would say what you're pointing at, that would be a good start. Or adding voice commands. Open this app. And then have it read out the menus, and then you tell it what you want to do. These things would not be that hard to implement in these headsets. Even creating an avatar. I mean, could you imagine? That would be brilliant. Could you imagine Ira being able to get into your VR headset and help you customize your avatars, like, figure out what you want to do and, kind of explain what's going on in your environment. That would be amazing, an amazing use of the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and, I understand that the technology is still new, and I understand that it's such an early part of this, but I think if Facebook in particular would say we're going to go in on inclusion very early, I think that we could spare a lot of headaches. Because I mean, wouldn't it be neat if you could accessibly walk into a virtual office building and nobody knows that you're blind? Nobody knows that you're deaf. Nobody knows if you're hard of hearing. And, you just exist with people on a very inclusive level in the metaverse. To me, that is incredible. And it's, with the way that the visual parts of this work, the way that the audio, because the Quest 2 has a 3D sound positioning, it has that in the headset. It has 3D sound positioning speakers. And so you put that on and it feels like you're there. I watched a National Geographic episode or thing on Yosemite from YouTube TV, and it showed a guy climbing up, El Capitan, and it was kind of interesting because you set up a game area, you set up your play space, and so I could walk around his environment. And one of the times, I jumped because the guy walked right like an inch in front of me. I was like, whoa, that's weird. It actually felt like he was there, like I was there with him. And they talk about having these experiences where you look down off of a mountain in VR, and it's like you're on that mountain. And I got it. It made my inner ear do the you are gonna fall kind of thing. And that's interesting that you can do that, like that it can put that feeling in your body, like because like I'm not there. I'm at my apartment. I hear the air currents going around the different items in my room, but yet I look down and I'm like, oh man. So yeah, and it's interesting because have you both used Microsoft Soundscapes?
I have.
I have very little bit.
And the Soundscapes is a augmented reality experience, and that could be added to what Metaverse offers. And things like that, things that augment or change your reality, are what we're talking about. And we know it can be done because we've seen the accessibility of Soundscapes and Blind Square and other apps that do navigation. Or we've seen where in Soundscapes you could put beacons and do different things like that. We have air tags, and we have iBeacons that can be used to label different things. So we know that augmented reality is a thing, that it can be done. But I think that and we know that all of these things can be done, but they just need to add inclusion. Now, we talk about Apple rumors on this show, but what are y'all's thoughts of an Apple headset? How do you guys, because Apple tries to add inclusion to everything. The first Apple Watch had voiceover. So how do we think, if we're going to see an Apple headset, how do we think we're going to see inclusion and accessibility added into an Apple VR headset?
Voiceover.
Yeah, voiceover. Yep, magnification.
Well, beyond that, how are they going to enhance the virtual worlds we enter, or the augmented reality that we use?
To me, it's going to describe everything around us when we're walking around. I have a feeling it's going to sit there and describe everything to us. I don't know. What about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think, like I said, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna basically show us the information that we wouldn't get visually otherwise.
Yeah, and I think it's going to allow us to. I think Apple's headset option is going to do more by allowing us to. It will do what Soundscapes does. It will do what a lot of these headsets don't do, and allow us to describe things. And they may have a way for app stores apps to put themselves in these glasses, so we could have an Ira, so we could have and wouldn't it be interesting if they use the image detection stuff that they use with voiceover already in a camera to be able to describe the world around us with these glasses?
Yeah. And then we could take pictures independently without any help.
You already can.
I know, but I'm saying with the glasses, we'd be able to do that more so. Like, we wouldn't have to always hold our devices and do
Right.
that.
Well, and that goes for everybody. It's not just a blindness thing or not. It'll
Yeah.
allow anybody to take a photo without having shaky hands or, anything like that. So I think that's going to be really pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. But it won't teach us to drive, though, sadly, folks. So we
No,
won't be able to.
they'll have Apple Car for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious what we think about. Do we think that there's going to be multiple do we think Facebook's going to have the metaverse, Apple's going to have their version of the metaverse where it will be independent virtual spaces? Like Facebook, their alpha to this is called Horizon Worlds. Do we think Apple is going to have their own, or do you think we're going to see all these companies kind of interface together to provide multiple ways to enter one inclusive or non-inclusive virtual space?
It's really hard to tell what they're going to do. It's really hard to say because I'm curious. I can't wait to see what's coming. I'm really excited to see. It's just so exciting to know what's coming out. It's really exciting.
I agree, and it's I'm curious what your thoughts are, Taylor. Do you think we'll see multiple spaces or one an inclusive or non-inclusive space, like a place for people to log into to do things?
It's kind of hard to say. I think that eventually there's going to be one space, which will be nice to have, right? One space where people can go and do things.
Yeah, and it might be where people can access it from kind of like we have the highway system where people can get to it from different on ramps, and that's what I would like to see VR and AR kind of turn into. I think that would be really awesome. And it might just be kind of like with different phones. At the beginning, iPhone was the most accessible out of the. Whenever they put in accessibility and talkback with voiceover, took a little while, and we may see that with the headsets in Metaverse. And the Quest 2 has none at all. So when Apple comes out with theirs, they may have that, and so we may see different. The accessibility race and the inclusion race in headsets. So that will be very interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that will be a very interesting. We're going to have to watch this topic, and we may do this podcast a few, every so often, just to kind of do a checkup on metaverse accessibility and how Facebook and all that. Because the Quest 2 is, Facebook and Meta bought Oculus, and so that's kind of their product line. So we might have to just see where they go in the next few years and see if it's going to be accessible or inclusive, and it'll be interesting to see different people's take on what's going to be out there. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. So we've talked a good bit. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap up today?
No.
I just, if you guys want to hear more about this, feel free to get a hold of us. If you want to talk about this with us more, we would be open to hear what your thoughts are. Anybody in the audience who has thoughts on this can definitely bring their points forward.
Yep. So, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. And we have our usual segment, and we're going to put Mr. Oliver in the hot seat first. And he's going to say...
me.
Yep. Yep. We want you to tell us your pick of the week, what, tech or media or whatever item that you like, and then kind of talk about it for a little bit, and then tell us how to find you online. So go ahead and kick us off.
All right. So the pick that I have is a lovely tech item that came out last year. It hit Apple stores in, when is it? Shoot, November, sometime October, November, whatever.
October, I think.
Yeah, October. Is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I will tell you why. Because for one, you got a lot longer battery life than you do like in previous iPhones. You get like 2 more hours longer than the 12 Pro Max. Plus, you know, you get the A15 Bionic, and plus for me, I got the 512 gig model. But the nice thing I like about the iPhone 13 Pro Max is it's a lot it seems to me it's a lot faster than any other iPhone. What are your thoughts, Michael? Because you have the same phone as I do.
Yeah, I have the same phone. I really like it, and Taylor has the same processor in her phone. So we all three have the same line of processor. They are very fast and they work really well. So I would agree. They're all great phones. What color did you get?
Sierra Blue.
Good choice. Yep. And where can people find you online?
If you want to find me online, you can find me producing content here for iAccessibility. If you want to get a hold of me, my Twitter is Duggo2002, and my email. If you want to contact me for now, I'm going to give you this is Doug@firestormhosting.net, which that is a company name. Firestormhosting.net is my company name. So yeah, because I'm a web host provider too.
Yep. Awesome. So, Taylor, what is your pick of the week and where can people find you online?
Well, can you guys hear me first off? Because I think I got muted.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So my pick of the week again is my iPhone 13. I wanted to get a Pro, but I needed a phone like pronto. When I got to Austin, my service was pretty pitiful. I had T-Mobile, and it was a very, very bad dumpster fire. So I needed to get a better phone. So they didn't have any 13 Pros. So we ended up spending 4 hours in a Verizon store. Yay, us. And we got this iPhone 13. I believe it's black, right, Michael? Because that's the only one that they had left.
It is a black phone, yes.
Yeah, so it's iPhone 13. It's black. It's a really great phone. I really love the phone. It's been great. I've also had to switch carriers as well, so it's been fun. But, my iPhone 13 has definitely been serving me well, and I'm really, really, really liking it. It's a really good phone, just like Doug said. The processor is super, super fast. In terms of where y'all can find me online, you can find me pretty much all over the place. So you can find me producing content for let me try that again. 3, 2, 1. You can find me online producing content for iAccessibility. You can also find me producing content for Techopolis on the Taste Tech Talks YouTube channel, which has been renamed for Taylor Tech Talks. On Twitter at Taylor_Arndt22. You can also email me at Tay, Arndt, ARNGT, at iCloud.com. Or if you are interested in our web hosting, we just launched our new Shopify store for my new company that I had to all of a sudden start when I'm in Texas. Long story. But you can go to tahosting.net as well. You can be able to contact me through there. And I'm also on Facebook at Taylor Arndt. Just send me a note that you found me on the iACast network. That way I know who you are, because I get a lot of people who either have gotten hacked or get spam friend requests from. So those are where you can kind of find me online.
Excellent. So my pick this week is a movie. I just watched Finch on Apple TV Plus yesterday. And oh my God, the robot in that movie is great. He's awesome. Kind of reminds me of the robot from the Short Circuit movies, but really cool. And it's a typical Tom Hanks film. When he does a good movie, he does a good movie, and he does a fantastic job there. And I will tell you, it's a sad movie, but it's worth every minute of it. So, Finch on Apple TV Plus, and really excited about that. I would watch it again. It's that good. So, check that out. that's my pick of the week. And where can people find me online? You can find me producing content for iAccessibility. You can email me at Mike Doise. That's MikeDoise at iAccessibility.net. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Doise. You can find me on Facebook, Michael Doise. I'm on Clubhouse, Instagram, pretty much anywhere there are socials. So feel free to add me there. I'm, all over the web. And I'm very excited that we have been able to do this episode for you guys today. This is a new year, new iACast. We're going to really come out and have new episodes this year. It's going to be great. So I want to thank everybody for coming to the live stream today and for listening and on your podcast players of choice. And we will be back soon with a new host, new everything, and we will see you next time.
Take care, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Wow.